welcome back. Let's continue to talk about our different shapes of the shoulder, okay? So we've been through the overhead, we've been through the press, and we've been through the hang shape. These are all very important expressions of the shoulder. Now we're going to move into the front rack, okay? So there's two different shapes that you want to look for in this front rack position. One is this shoulder height. Can I have my arms fully extended and my palms facing to the ceiling? The other expression is, can I have my hands up here can I have my elbows at the shoulder height and my palms facing up, okay? What does this require? This requires a full expression of external rotation of the shoulder, okay? And so this is important for a lot of different shapes. Let's talk about like the beginning of a push-up, okay? Whenever you're here, you need to have your arms, your shoulders fully externally rotated to have a stable shoulder in order to even start in that press archetype, to finish and ending in that press archetype and pressing out into this front rack archetype, okay, for a bench press or a push-up, okay? It's also important for the beginning of any type of an overhead press, okay? Whether that's a strict press, a push jerk, or a split jerk. So super important for any type of barbell or dumbbell overhead movements. You're starting in this front rack shape. You need to have external rotation and control. If we're going to be hanging out here, or if you're struggling to even keep the elbows up, you're going to end up having pressure in the wrist, and you're going to put the shoulder in an unsafe position, okay? So if we're doing this test, an easy way to see if someone is really missing control or mobility within this is you can get them into this front rack shape. If they cannot have their elbows pointed straight forward and palms facing up to the ceiling, it'll look like this. The elbows will be flared out and the palms will not be vertical to the ceiling. They'll be more pointing in like this. Okay, another quick and easy test to see if someone has good control is you can get into a plank test. Okay, and regardless of how long you're holding this, you want to be able to see an external rotation, the elbows being able to point behind, almost like you're screwing your hands into the floor. Okay, there's a couple of easy tests, and whenever you actually get into a barbell move, you're trying to teach a barbell overhead press or a good front rack position for a front squat or any type of overhead press, you can easily see it on the barbell. Okay, so good front rack position, you should be able to have elbows up nice and tall. You'll actually see the palms being slightly outside the shoulders, having a full grip on the barbell, okay? If you're struggling with this, then you'll see different compensations where the hands come in, elbows can flare out, and the grip becomes super loose here on the barbell. If you can see that they can keep their elbows up, but they just can't keep the elbows in with a full grip, then you know that there's some limited external rotation. Okay, if you have this full external rotation, but you just can't keep your grip on the bar, then you might have more of a wrist mobility issue, okay? So in order to confirm this, we can do a test on the floor. Looks a lot like our internal rotation test, but now I'm lying on the floor, keeping the shoulder on the ground, and then rotating the hand up, seeing if I can get full pressure of the back of my hand onto the floor while keeping my spine locked down to the floor, okay? With the shoulder staying down on the floor again, okay? So that's a quick external rotation test. You can also confirm it with several different, whatever equipment you have available. If you have a dumbbell, if you can keep the elbows rotated in as you keep the palms in and pressing that overhead. If you see the elbows flaring out as you come down, you know that we're struggling with motor control or even just mobility to keep that in there, okay? You can also really expose that with a kettlebell press. If you can't get it into this position to hold it nice and safe, you're having to hold the kettlebell way down here, and you're missing that external rotation of the shoulder, okay? So if we're missing the mobility in order to get this here, if through different cues we're not able to correct that, they just can't get it, then we can work, and we've confirmed that they can't get full external rotation of the shoulder, then we'll work on different mobilizations, whether that's releasing the chest or working on the lats in order to release some stiffness here to allow full expression of this external rotation, okay? This can also be limited by really a lot of stiffness within the tricep here. And even getting down into the scapula here, there's a ton of muscles that go into the shoulder back here. It's kind of test and retest and see if we get improvement there, okay? But we want to have a full expression of this movement because it's super important in any type of Olympic lift, front squatting. We want to have a full expression of this movement because this is super important for any type of overhead movement, getting into a safe pattern, starting from here and then pressing out and doing whatever we want to get done with that. But also we need it for any type of overhead lifts, push-ups, all that, to have a stable position as we come down to the floor. Even in a burpee, if we don't have a safe externally rotated position, then our shoulder is not going to be able to brace and perform at the way that we need it to in order to stay injury free. This is our front rack archetype.